Okay, so we should be going live now.
Oh my God, we're live on YouTube. This is my first live stream on YouTube. Woohoo!
Yeah. Oh man, we're gonna get so many views.
Am I an influencer now?
Oh yeah, dude, you're famous. YouTube famous.
Not yet.
If you like this video, share and like so we get, anyway. So
join us.
Yeah, subscribe. So okay, so we usually just start each call off with just intentions and distractions. So like what you want to talk about during this call. So as far as my intentions, I'm really excited to connect the front end, get the front end expertise in on this, and also nail down like a plan for rewarding your efforts and contributions here, which I think we have basically mapped out, but probably get a little deeper into that, and then see if there's anything that Marco or Sam want to do and just facilitate a good call. And I'm not distracted by anything other than I'm sitting in a garage because it's too early in the morning for everyone else who's in this house. So I'll pass it to Marco.
Thanks, Griff. All right, so intentions, same as yours. So basically first to introduce you, everyone, or whoever is now on the call. I thought it will be more people, but introduce you to Shimon, basically the guys who will be doing the front-end stuff, present our plan of engagement, timeline, what we discussed prior to this call already, potentially discuss some ways of working, and that's basically distractions. None at this moment, unless any connectivity issues, but that's all. And I passed it on to Sam.
Hey, intentions for the call, and if we can see how do we work in the front end and connect with you. And distractions, I just arrived home and there is no other distractions. And I pass it to Simon.
Thank you, Sam. So let me see if I got the hang of it. So my intentions for the calls are to introduce myself and my team a little bit more in detail, since I'm guessing Marco already did a bit of introduction about who are we and who are the guys that's going to build the front end. And in terms of distractions, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to mention. I have a cat and a dog. Does this count? It might count.
Yeah.
Okay, so you may expect a cat in the shot. That's it.
It's very distracting, cats on the internet, very distracting.
Yeah, I know.
Well, let's start with the introduction of the team.
Okay, Marco, you want to go first, or?
Yeah. So first, the guys on our side on our call, we have Griff here. Griff Wave. Griff is the project lead. He's also a trusted advisor and the Common Stack point of contact. Common Stack, you're already familiar. I sent you the links previously. So basically, Griff will be our resource of any information. We'll be reviewing everything and be doing the quality control. We got a Sam on the call. Sam is a front-end developer who started off the work but needs help. So you guys are coming in. I'm going to take the lead, and then Sam is going to help you with the front-end stuff. We don't have any more people on the call, but normally there's also Danny. Danny is responsible for the whole narrative and all the story. By the way, we all worked on this, but she was leading that efforts. And also Andrew. Oh, there's the cat. And Andrew is the cadCAD developer, backend developer, but he's also not on the call today. You're gonna meet him next time. So that's for the introduction on our end. And guys, please meet Simon or Shimon or Simon or however we're gonna call him. He's a good friend of mine and the CTO of Synthesis. Synthesis is a small dev shop, now small, but they're growing fast. Here in Croatia, and they do incredible work when it comes to development, and they're basically really just awesome guys. So
that's cool. The thing is that I am a general developer. I'm not so. I know front-end development, but the project that we have in hands, it's like wow. It is going to take somebody who has a lot of experience with frontend. And I was thinking, if I do that, probably it's not going to be as good as it should be. So yeah, I was needing some help. But I am also good at HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React. So call me on the development side. Just need some help.
No worries, Sam. By the way, Luca is the front-end developer who couldn't join the call today because he had some super important stuff to do, an appointment, not sure, I think, what was that?
I don't know. It's some kind of bureaucratic shit with the government, whatever it is, you know.
Whatever.
So it's like when you get the opportunity to fix it, we just didn't want to, you know, bother him. He said, you know, he was waiting for weeks to happen, and exactly happened the same time that we had the call. So we didn't want to like complicate stuff for him.
Yeah. So basically, Sam, you will be working with Luca, or you will be helping out Luca. He will be the expert. Also, Shimon is also the super expert here, who will be, you know, in charge to oversee the operations and make sure that all the processes are being followed, and we are, you know, delivering on time, and everything is going as planned. So that's basically it.
Fine. Can we talk now about the technologies that we are going to use? I am used to use React nowadays. I don't know if you were thinking on something else, or
well, maybe I can just answer and maybe do a short introduction. So maybe I will answer a couple of questions first, right? So yeah, as Marcus said, we're a small startup studio. We basically work primarily with startups. We cover the backend side with the server side APIs with the PHP, and we have a mobile development that we usually develop in native technologies like Java for Android and Swift for mobile. And also we use front-end development. We have a standardized stack that is based on Vue.js, but as a general rule, I'm sad that Luca couldn't make it because he's a really terrific guy in terms of front-end development, and he's really meticulous and really, he's actually, I think you guys are going to work well with each other. I think he's going to love the project that he's going to come in, because he loves challenging stuff, and you know, when he's on the fringe and experimenting with new stuff. And one of the things that I like about him is when he gets into it, he really gets into it really deep and really methodical, and usually thinks about other people in the team in terms of like preparing documentation, some kind of code snippets, and usually his code is very neat and very readable. So in terms of technologies, we do have, as I mentioned, since my background comes more from mechanical engineering, so as a CDO, I basically insisted on things to be standardized and to have protocols and processes for development and coding and style guides and so on. So we do have, let's say, a rigid foundation on which we build most of our projects, but nothing is, as we all know, in IT, everything is flexible, everything needs to be agile, as those are the buzzwords. So we basically try to be flexible and try to keep in a line with whatever, you know, you guys want, or any other client or any other partner, whoever works. So I think the thing you should that should put your mind in is that Luca has a lot of experience with React. He has a lot of experience with Vue, with Angular, and all of the major frameworks. And from my estimation, he's the kind of guy that has enough technical skill and motivation to actually go writing his own frameworks. But of course, we don't do that because there's already good solutions out there, just to get you the idea of how well he can handle different kind of, you know, challenges that might occur. So
by the way, Shimon, we're not fixed on React. We're open to using whatever tech stack suggested by you guys, so we're open to that. I'm sure, Sam, you won't have anything against that. And
no, actually, if you already have something in which you are good at, I can learn Vue. I have experience with Angular and React. I haven't worked with Vue.js, but I can learn. It's a good thing.
I'm also the old school guy. React and Angular, Vue.js is pretty much what the new kids are using. So everybody is in Vue, and I didn't want to, like, they're 10 years younger than me, and everybody's speaking about Vue. That's the hottest thing, and I didn't want to argue my initial, let's say, the methodology on which we usually pick who is going to have the final say is the person that's basically sitting for 8 hours in front of the code is actually has the final word in terms of deciding what the technology is going to use. So I don't think it's a good idea to actually imply on the developer,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Things that he's not comfortable with. So in terms of that, what I usually say to people in these first phases is that although we have some things set up, it is flexible, but if you want to have the optimum result from us in terms of how fast we can produce something and how fast will we be satisfied with it and you guys and get the end result, then it's usually the best way to just, try to plug yourself as much as we can into our process. And we of course have the area of flexibility where, each client is different and has its sort of demands. This common solution is like completely new area that we're entering, decentralized technologies, simulations, and more like a hard science kind of a, engineering aspect. So, you can't be that much rigid. Most of our things are like on basic principles and some technology derived from it. But in essence, we tend to have, take your demands into considerations as much as we can, as long as it doesn't like really put off our, capabilities for delivery times and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, we are open. I think me and Marco already discussed that, and he was also very flexible from your end. So if you want it, we can set up everything as we have processed in our company, which is, I think, really familiar because we didn't reinvent the wheel. We basically took all of the standard, agile Scrum practices. We just learned them really good and then maybe modified them a bit so that, the fact that we're working with startups requires a certain tweaks, and that's basically it,
And I would definitely suggest to follow those processes and best practices, because what Simon did is, super amazing. Like, how he structured the processes and everything. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Thank you.
Really.
And
I mean,
I want to introduce Danny too. Danny just can't join the call.
Hi, Danny.
Hi guys.
Danny knows everyone, but Shimun is working with. Is the company called Synthetics?
Synthesis.
Synthesis.
Yeah, synthesis. Yeah, but we pronounce it synthesis because we're Croatian, so
we're Balkans.
We're Balkan
people.
But
like
you can
synthesis.
pronounce,
synthesis.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can call me Shimun or Simon. They're both technically correct, only in different languages. So I like both of them. So that's like synthesis or synthesis. It's up to you. We're fine either way.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, they're going to help us with the front end, and we're going to nail down some of the engagement plan. And right now they're talking, architecture and ways of working together, which I guess is where we are now, right?
Yeah.
We dove into ways of working together.
Well, I'm just on time. Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is your process? It's basically Scrum, like 2-week sprints, or?
Yeah, so on the day-to-day basis, we do like standard Scrum with agile development, meaning that we usually have a Jira board that we break down, the project into user cases or user stories, whatever form we take, and then we break them down into tasks, make like sprint adjustments with a sprint planning and a sprint review. I think me and Marco already agreed that you have a 2-week sprint, guys, so we're gonna go with the same period. So we're gonna put a 2-week sprint segments and then repeat them as much as we need, right? Mm-hmm. So in general, we do have kind of like the same process you have. I have like tons of daily stand-ups depending on the project's team during the week and the day. And so we basically set a fixed time to have a sprint planning where we as a team, the entire team who is involved in the development basically defines the sprint goals, and then we try to complete them within 2 weeks, and then whatever is left over, we repeat the sprint and we rinse until it's done. And maybe on a larger scale, so that's something that we do on a day-to-day basis. on a larger scale, we do have some kind of, let's say, a set of protocols that are basically just a set of checklists that as a project, whatever it is progresses, you know, it's a kind of confusing maybe because on a day-to-day we use this kind of agile reiterative sprint, but on a, let's say, a larger scale project, if it's like a month or two or even more, we have like really long-standing projects over a year now, it turns into more of a waterfall structure, right? Where we have sprints, but we like to have an overall goals in those sprints, and then those sprints represent different stages of the project. And I can actually show you this. We have infographics for people to, you know, to have a preview.
We don't need to go that deep into
okay, you don't
details.
need to go that deep, but in essence,
I know you love that stuff.
yeah, thanks for that, because I do tend to go into the bit too technical. I'm all about
I don't think like as we spoke earlier, I think it won't be like necessary to like, we could take the lighter version of all of these protocols, because we're not going to need obviously those, but definitely 2-week sprints. Dailies, I guess the dailies will be on your end. Maybe, you know, you and I will sync. Sam, maybe you can join if need be. And then, you know, for everybody else, we can just, you know, have the weekly call just to give like a weekly updates, just as it is right now. I don't think there's need to pull in more people on the dailies or whatever, right?
Okay. What time do you want to do the daily?
Well, actually, we'll have to. I'll have to check with our schedule, because I still have to coordinate with Luca and see what time is he free in the next weeks.
But by the way, Sam, sorry, Simon, to interrupt. Sam, we didn't get to that part yet. So we're here at the more general introduction and more general how we're going to be working. Well, when we start, we're going to kick off with a couple of days reviewing everything. And then after that, Shimon, Luca, and the guys will come back to us with a proper plan of engagement. So right now we're just, you know, high level overview.
I still have to clear up Luca's schedule, because he's working on a project at the moment. He's right at the finish, so it's still going to be, I think, maybe a week or two before he can actually start the coding part. But for the first, let's say, week, I also went through this with Marco. There is like a few things that maybe from his design side, we need to analyze things and write things out and break down into tasks and maybe problems that we're going to have along the way. So I think me and Marco both sketched out a preliminary plan of what you can expect, let's say, in the next 2 months, like an overview, you know, higher level overview of everything you can expect from start to finish. So my impression is that you guys are first going to a little bit comment on that, and then me and Marco will coordinate on the actual pinpointing the actual dailies and, you know, actually planning down to, you know, fixing something in the calendar to be regular for the next couple of weeks, or right. And of course, one of the key things, let's say, for the next few weeks is going actually to be to get the actual estimation of the development time, because at this point we just had like a really general overview. Marco introduced me the entire idea, the company, the everything, but we still didn't I still didn't sit down and actually break down each element of the entire simulator and the front end, how it's going to broken down into, let's say, problematic sections that we need to develop. We still have to, let's say, communicate a bit about how it actually is going to communicate with the backend, and this, you know, discuss a little bit about the input-output scenarios between the communication with the API and however you have those interfaces set. So I would say, I can't really remember, Marco, what we put on paper, but I think we still have like a 10-day window to coordinate all those things, if I'm right.
Yeah, exactly. And then like it's a sort of a sprint 0. And then after that, after we do the analysis and have everything like, you know, a clear overview of how we're going to break up the other parts. So basically the sprint 1 would be organizing in the infrastructure setup and everything from your end. And then the sprint 2 and sprint 3 will be implementation, while the full workflow and working prototype. And then sprint 4 is testing and debugging. So that's like in general how we, like, high level overview what we mapped out. Yeah.
Can you say that one more time? I'm taking notes, but
I already sent you. It's the one that I sent you. The document that I sent you on the Telegram. You have it already. I just read it from there.
Okay, I'll link it in the.
I mean, I can. Yeah, I can paste it to you once again.
Paste it.
Yeah.
And it looks like we have Zhao, or I don't know how to say your name. Hey, welcome.
Who joined?
I don't know. It's not Luca, right?
No, it's yeah, Joao, maybe, if that's a good pronunciation.
Yeah. Well, and he's gone. Okay, that was quick.
Okay.
Anyway, so okay.
Maybe it was wrong number, you know.
Yeah, hate when that happens. One thing that I missed or that I wanted to bring up was you mentioned a Jira board, and would it be a challenge to use GitHub?
Well, no, we don't use basically, if you have an open source tool, then if it's okay, if we can use it on open source, it's okay on our side. But since we also have automated pipelines and setup, we use our own GitLab instance. But if you actually want it to be open source and accessible outside, there's no problem. We can make it open source. But simply because we have these automation pipelines to actually build things, we have it set up with GitLab. So, you know, if it's not a problem, we would like to stick with that. But if you have some other, you know, really like, you know, if it's just a thing of, you know, which one you like, then for the time of the development, I would put it on GitLab so that the pipelines work. And then when we deliver the project, if you want to put it on GitHub, we'll give you the repository and you can put it there. But just for, you know, we have already set up some kind of automating tools that are integrated with our GitLab instance. So we use that as a rule, you know.
Okay. I mean, yeah, whatever makes sense, as long as it's, we're kind of we're trying to be radically open source. So.
Yeah, I completely understand the philosophy. I'm mostly behind it.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't work for every project, and you guys got to work with other projects. So that's
exactly. As a general rule, we don't have anything against it, and everything we post has the, let's say, the open source button, so we can just push it and it's going to be okay, you know.
Cool. I don't use GitLab very much, but for tracking issues and just making it easy for people to follow along.
Yeah, it's the same thing, basically, just a little bit of maybe some difference in UI, but all around it's the same thing.
Okay, cool. Okay. Well, then, is there anything else that we need to figure out on the ways of working?
Nothing comes to mind from mine at this point.
No, me neither. I guess we covered the basics. Before we start, we're gonna iron out the details, set up a plan. That's basically it.
So I may have one question, John, in terms of communication.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the same question.
How you guys want to pull that off? I mean, it also, again, it would be easier for us just to, you know, add guys to our Slack channel, because the entire development team is already on our Slack. But if you want guys use something else, we can do it. It's not an issue.
In an ideal world, you would come into our Telegram room for sure.
Yeah, wanted to suggest the same.
Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem.
Just for the, you know, for the daily communications or ad hoc questions or something like that, I would definitely like to invite you guys to our Telegram. So, I mean, just for those kind of questions, and then whatever we have like internally, you know, what you have a question for me, or, you know, I come over to your office and we figure out some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's no problem for that.
Okay.
But just for the sake of, you know, daily communications maybe, or, you know, ad hoc questions for everybody, you guys join our Telegram and that's it.
Does Telegram have a desktop app?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm good.
Yeah, and you know, we're kind of, this has been a community project, and so there's like 100 people that are watching our daily movements.
Okay.
Probably not watching, maybe 20 of them are even paying attention at all, right? But it's still like that's why we're kind of stuck on this Telegram chat room.
Yeah, no problem. I'm all in for this kind of like community, open source, you know, decentralized stuff and science and math, you know. Yeah, I mean, for most of the time we're basically doing this, let's say, I wouldn't call them dumb, but they're basically really end consumer products. So a lot of them is the same. And I've been trying to get our company into, let's say, more like interesting stuff, like more hardcore engineering problems and solutions and things for some time now. So this is actually really, you know, up my alley, as they would say. You know, I'm really much of a tech and space and sci-fi enthusiast. So, you know, I really like the initial design, that it was like a game and the whole post-apocalyptic setting of it. So that's really what drew me in, you know, at the first glance.
Yeah, Marco did an amazing job on the design.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's if we have that settled, then let's go to front-end engagement plan, which, you know, this is always kind of tough to figure out. At least when I think of front-end engagement, I'm thinking like, how do we structure this contract and get you guys paid? Is there any, is that what you guys meant by front-end engagement plan?
No.
No. Okay, what did you mean by front-end engagement plan?
Well, what we basically discussed already, but we can now jump on the second part, which is the compensation, how they're going to get paid. I already told and asked Simon whether it's fine for them to be paid in DAI. So he said, no worries, no problem. So he's going to set up a MetaMask wallet or whatever, and they're going to be paid in DAI. So, you know, and then he asked me like, how are we going to invoice you? And then I said, hey, it's a crypto. You don't invoice it. So,
yeah.
But anyway, so they're fine, basically, in general, right? Shimon, correct me if I'm wrong. So that's cool. I also suggested the second part, like from the basic compensation that we agreed on, the budget to also allocate a certain percentage of the future grants we will be getting from Gitcoin or whatever we're going to be applying on, Aragon or something like that. So just like to have a certain percentage allocation of whatever comes in from the grant, also to forward funnel to the synthesis guys.
Okay, so I can just interrupt for a second. Luca just let me know that he's back, so maybe if we can just get him on a call. What do you think, Marco? Would that be cool?
Yeah, if he wants to join, no worries, no problem.
Okay, yeah, let me just ping him. He just came back.
Yeah.
Just a second.
Nice. And then, I assume that that's probably a cool idea to do the percentage, especially since we're going to hopefully, you know, continue the project and have leap 2, leap 3, leap 4.
Yeah.
I think that having a percentage there would work for me at least.
Yeah, would also fund, yeah, exactly, future front-end development works, and yeah.
Well, I think in terms of compensation, I don't think you need to worry all that much. I mean, we all obviously like to get paid, you know, like everybody else. But also, you know, Marco did a lot of favors for rounds back in the last couple of years, especially for myself. So everybody in the company is looking very like friendly to Marco, and everybody likes when he comes in. He also always brings ideas and gifts and things like that. So, you know, in terms of compensation at this point, I don't see it's that much of a, in terms of what we deal with, this is like something of a middle to lightweight kind of a front end, you know, a project. We are just right now building like a mobile version, a web version of a mobile app that Luca is right now building. It has like gazillion screens, gazillions animation, and he's really dealing with it really, really, really well. So I think that's why also we took it like something from a month and a half to 2.5 months to get this done once we start developing. So also in terms of the money, I would just maybe need to just shortly, Marco, you, me, and Dom can maybe have a chat tomorrow morning just to put it, you know, just so that there isn't any miscommunication on the line, just to have everything cleared up on our side. And, you know, from there on, I think, as I see it, the majority of, let's say, benefit that we have is basically networking with you people in the area that you're actually occupying, the area of technology. That's very interesting for me. And also I always wanted to work with Marco. I always liked his design, and it's a great opportunity for us that we can actually get something as cool as Marco designs to be as a developers behind it. Mm-hmm. And of course, to put it in our portfolio, I think that's the long-term benefit that I see from here. So, you know, it's like it's a really cool project, and you shouldn't be worried, I think, at this point in terms of compensations and, you know, our motivation to actually deliver the project at top level.
Great. That's cool. That's easy. Yeah, I mean, just on our side, we're completely nonprofit. We basically run off Gitcoin grants. So, you know, people just donate to us. And with Marco's great designs, I think we can get a lot of grants this round.
Awesome.
For sure. But we'll see.
As things are looking, well, we are also non-profit at the moment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the thing is, we do reward people, and it is kind of weird. Money is always so weird, especially in the nonprofit vibe, you know. And basically, what we do is what the funds we have, you know, we kind of just like calculate hours for everyone and pay them like somewhere around 15 to 25, mostly around 20 DAI an hour. 20 US dollars an hour. And you know, it's not like a great wage or anything, but just to be transparent about it. We're kind of weird about being transparent with money, and that's why this is happening. This conversation is happening in a group of like 6 people, which is not normal for sure. But I'm down with the discussion tomorrow or something.
Okay.
Just keep me in the loop for sure.
No problem. Just to mention, Luca came on. So just to introduce him, this is the front-end guy, Luca. He's a brilliant young front-end developer.
Yeah, sorry, don't have a cam.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I'm just gonna brief him in shortly. So Luca, these are the guys from Common Sims. Marco, you already know. Sam is your counterpart from their side, the front-end developers. I'm guessing you two guys will be communicating back and forth to some length. Griff is the technical advisor and basically keeps track of everything, the project lead. Did I get this right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then he came in a bit on, so I'm not sure what she does. Apologize for that. So yeah, that's it. And Luca is the guy that I've been telling you about, so that's it.
Yeah, I've been with the company for like 7 months or so.
7 months, yeah.
Yeah. It's been pretty successful for now.
We heard all the stories, Luca.
Yeah. Okay, I won't explain. But yeah, I'm thrilled about the project. It looks really cool. I've met Marco. I mean, online over the chats, and he did a really nice job with the mock-up of that thing.
We're still gonna work on those once we get started. And by the way, we got Sam on the call. Sam is also the front-end developer. So Luca, you will probably at some stage be working with Sam.
Okay.
And before we kick off, Sam will be also included in those front-end discussions and whatever you guys will be talking about from the technical point of view and architecture and whatever.
Yes, especially if you have some questions on what the simulation is all about, you can ask me. I kind of work with the conviction voting and all that stuff behind the project.
Mm-hmm.
I can help with the how this should look like and this kind of stuff. And the thing I will need from you is to set up the animations and the initial structure of the project,
Mm-hmm.
because I am a general developer. I have experience with front-end development, but not so deep into animations and cool stuff.
Yeah, we'll figure something out for sure.
If you can set up the initial structure of the project and help with all the animations and all the illustrations, I can help with the where things should go and how they should interact with each other.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the whole scope of the project. I just saw those screens that Marco did. So
we'll discuss that, and then Sam will also be help here, providing any feedback, any questions, any answers to any questions you might have. But you will be leading the front end dev work, and Sam is also here to support, and we're actually all going to be working together. So No
Yeah.
worries.
Cool.
They're gonna
Yeah.
add us in their Telegram channel, and Luca, you and me can get a brief on tomorrow morning when we, talk regularly. So I can basically brief you in, and I'll probably bring in Marcus so we can have a little like 10-minute chat, and we'll brief you into details of everything you missed today. And
Yeah, I'll
everything else.
talk about
Okay.
what
Okay,
we missed.
cool.
For sure.
All right. Anything else anyone has to add, comment?
No, I feel like we nailed it. Just action steps. It sounds like you might want some people to join your Slack, but we can do that later. I posted the Telegram group handle or name or whatever. Oops, if I did it wrong. In the chat without the @sign. And yeah, I think that we basically covered it. So
I have a question. When do we begin with all that? I know Luca is working now on another project.
Yeah.
What time?
it sounds like we're going to start with putting together a project plan while Luca's working on the other project.
Yeah.
Called Sprint Zero, and we start that tomorrow, right?
Once we have the whole overview, like Sprint Zero will get us the actual timelines and everything else.
Yeah.
So once we get that part, we can start working. I think Shimon, you and I talked. What was that? A rough estimate. Hold on a second. For to begin development by the end of September, something like that.
Yeah, I think let's say in the next couple of days, you and me will go back and forth, until we get into the teams, and maybe I'll have some questions for Sam. Luca will have some questions, and vice versa, right? So I would basically in the next couple of days, I would go back and forth with some basic questions, communication, just to get the rhythm of the entire collaboration, and then I think by the next call, which is in a week. Oh shit, my battery is gonna go down. Just a second.
No worries. Yeah, we're gonna end anyway.
Okay, in the next, I think by the next call we can have like a more detailed plan, maybe sorted out. Do you think that's possible? Yeah,
that's cool.
And then by next call we can actually figure out when the actual kickoff of development sprint is gonna be. If it's going to be like the 15th or the 25th, and then we can take it from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good to the rest of you guys.
Sounds great. Okay, cool. Well then, I think that we can call it, and we can let everyone go back to their day. So thank you guys. It was a great call, and I'm really excited to be working with synthesis.
Synthesis.
Awesome.
Synthesis.
Cool.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Okay,
thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Love it. Great.
See ya.
Bye.